Hello, Maddie here. Right, Hinata? Hinata agrees. This week we're talking about Enthusiasm by Polly Shulman. I apologize if there's bangs and stuff that end up in the video because my mic stands on a night table and my cat likes to rub up against it and it's super duper loud. Anyways, Enthusiasm by Polly Shulman. I have been thinking about this book. I've been thinking about this book a lot recently. It goes in the genre of very safe and very short. It's not as safe as Cindy and the Prince. There is a little more heartache and confusion and miscommunication than that book. But, oh, it's just so precious. I really love it because it's just so innocent and just genuine, and they're so precious in like their feelings for each other and like all the different characters, the way that they interact and like support one another and love one another, are there for one another. And you know, I don't feel the need to like go back to high school, but it's these kind of books that remind me of just the really, really good times. All of those wonderful moments with my best friends, the staying up late when we should have been sleeping, the talking about boys when we should have been studying, all those things. And this book is all the good moments with some bad moments, because we know that there's bad moments. Basically, this book is about a girl who is a Jane Austen enthusiast. Ashley is the best friend. Julie is the main character. So the main character, Julie, has like a Jane Austen obsession. And she calls her best friend Ashley an enthusiast because she gets really, really excited and into different hobbies for very short amounts of time. The book opens with her friend deciding that she is also a Jane Austen enthusiast. And it just goes through the missteps of, I don't even know exactly how it all plays out. Like, I know everything that happens, but I'm like, how did we even get there? Like, what were y'all doing? Oh my gosh, that's right. Okay, so the book starts with her friend being like, Jane Austen, dancing and balls and stuff. And they learn a whole bunch of classic, like Regency era dances. And then they crash a like formal ball event thing at their like brother's school. And like, if that's all you know about this book, then like it's not the worst depiction, because it's a lot of just craziness and just doing the high schooler thing and just being like, yeah, sure, that sounds like a good idea. What's the worst that could happen? When in all reality, the worst thing that could happen is like basically nothing, because things when you're in high school that feel like your world is ending, rarely is your world actually ending. There are obviously exceptions to that, but in general, the trouble you get in, the mistakes that you make, it's really all gonna be okay. Most of it people won't even remember, I promise. This book, that's how this book starts out. You know, these boys come to their rescue and they're like, oh yes, they're our dates. And then it's her and her friend just starting to like these boys, and there's lots of miscommunication and confusion and all of that good, cute stuff. And so I highly recommend this book. I love it because it's Jane Austen, like a Jane Austen-esque. Like, it's not a Pride and Prejudice retelling or anything like that, but you can see snippets of characters from Austen's works in this book. Specifically, I think there's a pretty strong Wickham character. Like, the main girl's not really a Lizzie, and the main guy isn't really a Darcy. You could maybe call him Edward Ferrars, maybe. And she's kind of an Eleanor. Kind of. Yeah, no, actually, I think that'd be the best people to match them up against for Austen would be Sense and Sensibility, Eleanor and Edward, and then her best friend being more like Marianne. But the guy she ends up with isn't a Willoughby or a Brandon. Anyways, it's not a straight retelling of any of Austen's novels. That's what that's supposed to say. Just a really good, cute book. A book that I read a really, really long time ago. I cannot tell you the first time I read this book, but I've read it many times since. And part of why it pops into my head so often is because of the length. I had just had times in my life where it's like, I need to get to my happy ending, but I need to get a full story, because if I just read the end of a book, I don't get the full satisfaction of the story. If it's a short book, then I can get the full satisfaction of the story with my happy endings, which is why this book comes to mind so often, because it is a grand total of 198 pages, not even 200 pages. This is something you could read in one sitting. Like, legitimately, if I stopped right now and started reading this, I could read this before I went to bed tonight. It's so good. Kind of, I don't know if they're funny tidbits, things that have happened not since my last video, but just over the last couple of weeks that I think y'all will be maybe interested in. When I was first talking to my psychiatrist about just how I was doing, and I was struggling to find joy in literally anything. All of the things that I loved were not bringing me any joy. And he was like, just pick something you know you love and like just do it. Like, just watch that movie, just read that book. He's like, if you have to start in the middle and just get to the end, like, do that, but just start. And so that's what I've been doing a little bit over the last couple of weeks. I started Dear Mr. Knightley, which is my family pick for the year. I started that book, and then after I did my host video, one of the girls who I know from church, she commented that she was listening to the audiobook, which made me want to listen to the audiobook. So I restarted the host and then put that down, and I finished Dear Mr. Knightley. And we're still reading Stepsister on the side, but now I want to read Enthusiasm. There's like always probably close to half a dozen books that I'm kind of rotating through at any given moment. It's kind of just what happens. I can't help it. I love books, and I love lots of books, and I just want to consume them all the time. So that is this week's book. That's what I've been up to. We have been working on finding joy in the things we know we find joy in. I'm trying to think. I don't think my husband has built me a PC. I don't know if I said that last time or if he had done it, but I spray painted it all myself. It's very pretty. And I've been hanging out with our really good friends from church, Josh and Olivia. They're amazing. I've now mentioned Olivia, I don't know how many times in my videos, but we just had a really, really good time hanging out with them this last week. And it's really cool to have a couple friend that like all four of us can hang out really, really well, but like just Evan and Josh can hang out and just Olivia and I can hang out, and it's still a really, really good time. It's not forced or strained or stressed or anything. So that's really fun that we found these friends all on our own in this city. And you know, we're not perfect, we never will be, but we are working our way back up to a better baseline. I did want to read for you, or at least part of it. So there's a part where a boy writes a poem and confuses all the girls. Unless you're like just super observant, I didn't catch it the first time around, like the secret message in the poem, but there's a secret message in it. It's really cute, and I'm not going to read the whole thing for you because it's like 12 lines or something like that. Y'all don't want to hear me read some teenage boy's hackneyed poem, but the line that I always remember it's the last line. It says 0 degrees down here, July above. And it's the July above that I always remember because the girl's like on the second story and she's like, you know, the sun and whatever. When I think of this book, that's one of the things I think of. I think of July above, and I think of the warmth in the cold. I think of the light in the darkness. I think of just that hopefulness in life. Life doesn't even necessarily need to be hopeless, but just even at your normal, finding things that give you hope and love and joy are wonderful and great and good. You need to read this book. You gotta read this poem. When you get to the end, if you found the thing, that gets revealed later, you'll have to let me know. Because, like I said, I did not notice it until it got explained. And you're like, well, it's a lot less cute once it's explained. But it's how the story has to go. If it was noticed right away, then the story wouldn't progress properly. It gets noticed the way it's supposed to. But if you noticed while reading, I really want to know. I really want to know because I didn't feel like dumb, but it's more like, that's brilliant. What teenage boy would think of that? It's like, oh, the really cute, cheesy, made up ones. I've not written a blog about this book. Okay, so there isn't a blog to go along with this book, which means it's likely that there will be a blog to go out with this. So I guess be on the lookout for that. Oh, but the other thing I wanted to say was that I'm super, super, super obsessed with this artist named Summer Ceramics, and she throws her own pottery and paints these crazy, insane, detailed pieces. And I have been wanting one for ages, but her stuff literally sells out in like minutes. Her Not this sale, but the sale before literally was a minute and a half and everything was gone. A minute and a half. This time it lasted like a full 4 minutes. It's crazy. But my wonderful, awesome husband got me a Sit Sprite, like from Spirited Away ramen bowl. And it's really cute. It's really pretty. It was very expensive, but it makes me really happy. Like, comment, subscribe, all those things make me super happy. I love the comments because I love knowing what you think about the video. I love knowing what you think about this book or past books. Even if you're commenting on the current video about a past video, like, do it. I would love to talk to you about any of the things that I've talked about. Also, if you go to my blog, there are lots of books that I've written about that I have not gotten around to talking about yet. If you need someone to talk to about these things, I got you. With all of that, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you have a great night, great week, great weekend, great month, great year. I hope you have all of the greats because you're truly worthy and deserving of them. So until next time, bye. 再见. No, 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 no.